Man, these engine evaluations are getting pretty stale. I have to think of something that'll make these relevant. And then it hit me. One of the ways Walmart ups its competitors and definitely shows itself ahead of the game is that it often, almost meme-worthily, puts out its holiday merchandise months before other stores, because that means they're the first ones to have that stuff that you eventually do have to buy, or at least would like to look at before the holiday actually occurs. So I realized, why not make a Halloween episode before any other Yugi-tuber on the platform for 2019? I'm JC Theater Yu-Gi-Oh! And what's more spooky than some witches? Windwitches are an archetype first introduced to us in the Arc 5 anime, and physically being released to us in the TCG set Raging Tempest, back in good old early 2017. Focusing on a wind-exclusive swarm, burn, synchro, fusion strategy, the Windwitches never really made any impact as a deck on their own. However, when used in a small amount within a deck in order to complement an existing strategy, aka when used as an engine, the Windwitches truly start to shine. Though one may be able to list monster card types that are under-supported, such as Reptile, Sea Serpent, and Pyro, among others, I would argue that wind monsters as a whole are the most under-supported attribute in terms of meta relevance. I bring this up because though the Windwitch engine nets some great advantage and allows you to go into a pretty powerful monster, it has not seen too much success anywhere recently. Being a true one-card combo, meaning you only need a single card in hand in order to start the whole engine's plays, why is it that this engine isn't splashed in more decks? Well, let's take a look at the 6 main deck and 1 extra deck cards we have to run in this deck, and maybe these questions will answer themselves. I'm JC Theater Yu-Gi-Oh! And welcome to this really cool episode of Engine Evaluation, Windwitch. The Halloween Special! The starter card, playmaker, and all-around first piece of the engine is none other than the level 3 Wind spellcaster with 1000 attack and defense named Windwitch Ice Bell. Summoning this Windwitch should be a breeze in certain scenarios, since if you control no monsters, you can special summon her out to your side of the field, and then also special summon another Windwitch from your deck. The stipulations for this free 2-body board comes at the cost of that special summon Windwitch unable to be tributed and not being able to special summon any monsters from the extra deck outside of level 5 or higher wind monsters. To top it all off, this gal burns your opponent for 500 once per turn. Since you always want to see this card during your opening hand, playing 3 of this is necessary. The Windwitch you want to special summon from the deck using Ice Bell's effect is known as Windwitch Glass Bell. She is a level 4 wind spellcaster tuner with 1500 attack and defense, and when she's summoned, you can search a Windwitch monster from your deck and add it to your hand, except a copy of herself. And then you're trapped into only being able to special summon wind monsters for the rest of the turn. Not only is your extra deck restricted to winds because of Ice Bell, but Glass Bell restricts you to winds period when it comes to any form of special summoning. This monster not only sets up the next step in the combo, however, but also helps bring out the first of the 2 extra monsters using this engine. I recommend running 2 copies of this card within the engine. The card you search with the Glass Bell is none other than the final main deck card in the engine. The level 1 Wind Spellcaster Tuner Windwitch Snow Bell. This literal bell has the amazing effect of being able to special summon itself out onto the field when you control 2 or more wind monsters and no other non-wind monsters. Its second effect prevents a synchro monster summoned using him as a material from being destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You just need one copy of this in the engine package. Once you special summon this little guy, the next step is to start synchroing. Using the Glass and Ice Bell, the first synchro summon you must usually perform is for the level 7 Wind spellcaster, Windwitch Winter Bell. This thing has two effects. The first letting you target a Windwitch in your grave to inflict damage to your opponent equal to that targeted Windwitch's level times 200. So 800 burden damage by selecting Ice Bell isn't bad. Its second effect lets you special summon a monster from your hand during your battle phase with a level less than or equal to a selected Windwitch on your side of the field, so basically a level 7 or lower wind monster. This also isn't bad, but it can only truly be utilized in decks that contain mostly, if not all, wind attribute monsters, since you're still restricted to winds the turn you use the other Windwitch's effects. Remember that Snowbell we summoned and still have on the field alongside this level 7 Synchro monster? Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon does, and it's a level 8 Wind Dragon Synchro with 3000 attack and 2500 defense, and requires a tuner and one or more non-tuner Synchro monsters. This is the culmination of everything this engine has worked for. Over the span of the engine, you should have burned your opponent for 1300 damage and summoned this guy out, all without using your normal summon. So what does he do? This boss monster has a once per turn quick effect that activates when another monster activates its own effect. Not only can you negate that effect and destroy that monster, but Crystal Wing gains attack equal to that monster's attack for the rest of that turn. A negate with a fierce attack is not too shabby, but things don't end there. When battling a level 5 or higher monster, Crystal Wing can gain attack equal to that monster's attack during the damage step only, so he's definitely able to beat over most things on top of negating. Not to mention, he's protected from your opponent's destruction due to Snowbell's effect. As was the case with a previous engine evaluation, the Star Seraph one, I took the liberty of looking through the official Yu-Gi-Oh! Database to see what other level 7 and 8 wind synchros we can end with through the use of this engine. Now before I start the list, I just want to say that there is a reason Crystal Wing is synonymous with the engine, for he's almost always the best option. But as is the fun with Yu-Gi-Oh!, there are always other options as well. For the level 7s, we have Clear Wing Fast Dragon. As it is just an extender to the level 8, this manga promo isn't worth the price of using it unless run in tandem with Speedroids. Clearwing Synchro Dragon is a direct downgrade of Crystal Wing. It's better to use Winter Bell to at least deal some burn damage in the process. Mecha Phantom Beast Kong Karuda, though it isn't a necessity, the use of the Windwitch engine is an option for Mecha Phantom Beasts. If you're making a level 7 to make it a level 8 though, it's best not to waste this guy over Winter's Burn either. And finally, Tengu the Winged Mayakashi. At first I was like, well, this is a technical choice, but maybe in some weird zombie deck or something it may be able to... Never mind, it's just a technical option. For the level 8s, we have Stardust Dragon. Having this be immune to card effects means nothing, since once you use Stardust's effect and it leaves the field, when it comes back it'll no longer have that protection. He will unclog your extra monster zone, however, which is a problem with the Windwitch engine, but I don't think the trade-off is necessarily worth it. Battle Wasp Hama the Conquering Bow. Battle Wasp are a new deck released pretty recently that focuses on winged synchros, and this is actually an option, and it's a good one at that when playing the engine in Battle Wasp specifically. As one can see though, the options are so vast and limitless, those running the engine stick to what they are comfortable and familiar with in the form of good old Crystal Wing. To me, this engine on paper quite honestly looks quite appealing. Without using a normal summon, one can bring out a pretty formidable monster and deal some burn damage in the process. Sadly, this comes at the cost of being locked into special summoning only wind monsters, And since Ice Spell prevents you from link summoning the turn you use it, and because it can only activate its effect when you control no monsters, you can't pre-link before you're locked out of it for the rest of that turn. The final result of 3 free Windwitches on the field from this engine can only go into either a Wind Synchro or a Wind Fusion, which, as you can imagine, does not have too wide of a choice pool. With limited options and a harsh deck restriction, all for a monster that is, although good, cannot be a standalone juggernaut, this engine is very lackluster in the implementation in most decks. One deck most likely to be able to run this is Invoked, since you can use your normal summon on Alistair, and the deck does have a Wind Fusion in Raijin. On the synchro side of things, as I mentioned before, Speedroids and Battle Wasps actually synergize quite well, since they are both Wind Attribute, synchro-based archetypes. Though these 3 decks may synergize the best in my opinion, ultimately this engine can be played in all sorts of strategies. They just won't be able to get off any of their own plays during the same turn you do the Windwitch combo, since the wind restriction is only the first turn that you use the combo. Sadly, in 2019, the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is often too fast to stop your deck's main strategy for a turn in order to bring out a single boss monster. Though Crystal Wing is strong, one can just summon a high attack Link or Xyz monster and beat over it, and then this whole engine was for nothing. Maybe this engine will always be stuck in 2017, a relic of a bygone, pre-Master Rule 4 era. Who knows, one day a wind archetype could very well come out and be the best thing that's ever happened to Windwitches. As with many things in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, all we can do is wait. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to my channel and maybe even give the video a like. This has been JC Theater Yu-Gi-Oh! See ya!